Hi everybody, it's Christina from Card Making Magic. Today we're going to be using some of the new items from the Card Making Magic collection, and all this is available at CraftStash. So I'm going to use the new Spring and Summer stamp and die set, the 6x6 card and box die set, and the ribbon threaders. And here I have some beautiful white satin ribbon that I'm going to be threading through one of these threaders, and this is also available at CraftStash. So these are the dies that are available in the card and box die set. You'll get all these in the box. So all these small pieces here I have kept in an envelope that you would keep a CD in, and they're on a magnetic sheet, and they will all be kept safe so that I never lose any of my pieces. This is the trellis element, and this is in two parts, so you can cut a solid base and then cut your pattern for the top. And this is the box element with some decorative edges for you to add. You have a label, you have the card element, and two layers that will cut you a stitched edge and a scalloped edge. So using the card making edge, I've folded an A4 piece of card in half. I'm going to place the non-cutting edge of the card part over the fold, and I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine, and that will then give me a card that I can use in either tent fold or side fold. Now from the stitched mat I've cut two layers, and I'll explain why we need two as we go along. And from the scalloped edge I've cut another two layers, and obviously they're going to sit one on top of each of these. Now from the word sentiment in the die set, I've taken the solid piece and I've cut my layer from parchment. Then with the words I've cut with love 4 times, and I'm going to stack these together, and then they will be added to the parchment. Now with the ribbon threaders, I've taken the same blue card and I have cut this twice, and then with the white ribbon I've threaded it through the card in the pattern that I want. So obviously you can create this pattern as you go along. So I'm just going missing 2, coming down, missing 2, and coming back up. Now with all these elements ready to add to the card, we'll just move them out of the way while we get busy with some stamping. So from the stamp set I'm going to use this rose, I'm going to use this rosebud, I shall take this stamp set, this leaf, and I'm going to take this little flourish at the bottom. Now I've added a larger leaf set to a block, so with every piece that I've picked now I'm going to stamp it all onto the watercolour card with some Versamark. And I'm just going to add them to my card, leaving enough space between each one so that you can add your white powder. So we'll add the white powder as we go along, and once we've filled the card with the flowers and the leaves, we're going to heat set it. So now I'm going to do a little bit of watercolouring on this design. It doesn't matter if you don't have the proper watercolours that you need. You can use either Distress inks or Distress Oxide inks. So you need a little bit of water and a brush. Now I'm going to use the Distress Oxides, and I'm just going to put a little bit down on my mat. I don't need a lot. And the same with the peeled paint. I'm going to put a little bit down on my mat and create my designs. So with my colours added to the mat, this is the look that we're aiming to get, and it's very easy to do. So I'm going to just turn it round. There is the large flower again, and I'm going to show you how I achieved that look. So with a wet paintbrush, I'm going to take the water to what is the bottom of the leaf, of the petal. So I'm not wetting all this leaf, I'm just wetting at the bottom. And then I'm going to pick some of my blue and I'm just going to drop this into the water. Now we'll leave that to dry a little bit and we'll move on to the next one. And of course the embossing will stop the colours from running into each other. So again, we'll take some water, we'll just drop some into the bottom of the petal and then some blue and let that do the work with the water. Stage, clean your brush, and you don't want it absolutely wet through, so take some of the water off it so that it's just damp, and all you're going to do now is spread that colour in that petal out to the end of the petal itself, and that will soften the hard edges for you. It will spread your colour right to the end, and that will give a shaded look to your petals. Now to deepen the shadow, you're going to put some fresh blue ink down so that it's quite dark, and with a damp brush you're just going to come into the bottom of the petals and add that shading in. And once you're happy with that, you can then again clean your brush, and with the damp brush you can just smooth out the lines. So now you're going to repeat that process on the smaller flower buds, and then we'll move on to the leaves. So again, make sure that your brush is clean. We'll start with this larger leaf here at the bottom, and we'll just add the water to the end part, to the inner part of the leaf, and then we'll pick the green up and just drop that colour in. Once you've completed your flowers, take the die that corresponds with the large flower head and cut that out, and then fussy cut the others out as you need them. So now we have all the elements to our card cut, coloured and ready to use, and this is the base card. Now with this base card we're going to turn it into an easel card. So we have our base like this. What we need to do is score along this side and fold that one in. So once you have this folded, you will now have an easel card. If you wanted to make a difference, if you wanted to ring the changes with this, you can fold it that way, and that will give you then a card that will stand like this. And this is a twisted easel card. Now, whichever way you do these, you're going to need another piece that will sit on the front of your card. So I've made another piece that is just slightly smaller than my base. But we're not going to add that in place just yet, because we're going to put these layers onto it first. So we're going to add the blue layer and the white layer. So I've glued these two together. Now, before I add anything to this layer that's going to sit on there and that one, I'm going to just add some script in there. So I've got a little script stamp and some blue ink, and I'm just going to add this script stamp along the card. So I'm not adding it to a block, I'm just going to add my ink on there randomly and then pop the stamp down. And that will leave my script along there. So we'll do the same along the bottom. Foam tape to the back of both of my ribbon threaders. One is going to sit inside the card, and that will act as the stop that stops your card from sliding open. The other one is going to fit on the front, but we're only going to glue this on this bottom piece, so make sure that your ribbon doesn't show on the back of your card once you've added it. So if we add it there, nothing's visible on the back of the card. So once you've got those tucked in place, you can glue those on the back, and that will look nice and neat from the front and the inside of your card. So now we can add these to the card. So again, I'm going to put some foam tape on the back of this, and I'm going to add this to the inside of the card. So there's our easel card. We're going to open it up, and we're going to pop this piece into the bottom. Now I'm also going to add a little bow on there, and that will act as the stop for the rest of the card. Now if you flip your card over, you're now going to add glue just along this bottom flap, and you're going to add this piece of card in there. This is the bit that you cut extra, and you don't want anything to show on the back of it, so we're keeping the glue down at the bottom end, and we're going to add this panel along there. So we'll make it nice and central, and we'll press that in place. Now the reason you're not adding glue all the way along it is because you want this piece to be free. If you glue all that down, it won't be an easel card. So now we've got the basis of our card ready to decorate. So now we can decorate our card with the flowers. So I'm just going to pop it down there so that I can see where I want to put things. And this is just a dry run, as I always do, just to see where I would like to place the flowers. My pearls to the centre of the bows, and around the flowers on the inside, on the front, and also on the back. So now you have a really beautiful card that you can pop into a box and send to someone that you love. So here are the items that I've used to create my easel card. I've used the Spring and Summer stamp and die set, the 6x6 card and box die set, and I've used one of the ribbon threaders and then added some satin ribbon from the Card Making Magic decorative range that's all available at CraftStash. I'll add some photographs of the easel card at the end of the video. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please join me again on the next one, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.